Hello. Boy, I'm sure glad that Photoshop starts up fast. I guess I can't make bitmaps today. My membership expired. What the fuck? Or is that just the message I get from canceling? I believe my account should still be locked. I just want to make a bitmap. This is modern computers. All right. Quit Creative Cloud. Let's start it up. Adobe Creative Cloud. I feel creative and like I'm in the cloud. Oh, look, it's completely... Also, it throws away your first keystroke when you tab to the password field. Takes Photoshop 20 to 30 seconds to get to the point where it's interactive. I know. Isn't that great? Apps. Let's update Photoshop. I don't enable auto update. No. I'm updating Photoshop CC. So that was just software being broken. Not only would it not, like I'm logged into Creative Cloud now, not only would it not start Photoshop, it wouldn't even successfully start Creative Cloud. And when I hit cancel, it told me the completely wrong thing, which is that my account was expired. This is like so many levels of software failure on top of each other. And yet, when you try to talk to people about how software today is worse than ever, they're like, what are you talking about? It's so bad. It's so bad. Oh, now we're updating Creative Cloud. We can't even update Photoshop without updating Creative Cloud. You got a free Adobe Drawstring backpack from a conference, fell apart almost immediately. Yeah. So here's a tip. If you run a company and you ever do swag, which we haven't, but if you do, have it be really high quality swag. Yes, it's expensive, but the whole point of having company swag is that people are impressed by your stuff. And if you give them crappy stuff, that's what they will think of your company, right? So do expensive, nice swag and win, is what I have to say. Okay. So while we're waiting for Photoshop to show up, let's, so we're going to continue, we're going to do a ton of stuff on the control prompts today. Let's first do, so this back buffer height times 0.04, let's unhard code this. So let's go, let's find some variables. Put this in. Gameplay visuals, graphics, gameplay. Editor visuals. How about if we make like a HUD settings and we'll say control prompt screen height fraction. And I was feeling it was a little small yesterday, so we're going to go 0.06. Let's call it HUD visuals, because that's what everything else is called. Okay, so now, how do we register this? I think we do it in main gameplay settings. Yeah, so we go HUD visuals. All right. So now we've got a section. Photoshop still isn't ready. We've got a section for controlling HUD stuff. Undeclared identifier HUD visual. What? Oh, because I didn't save the file. All right, so I'm there. Hey, it's bigger, and I can even hot change this now. So, right, so if I go here, go to like 0.25, it's giant. I think 0.06 is, or 0.8. We're going to make it real big for now. Okay. Is Photoshop done yet? Can I open it? All right, well, we implemented a feature in the time it took Photoshop to update. Okay. Multi-undo function. Is this the first thing that Photoshop has ever done that was useful? Can I hit Control-Z multiple times? Oh my God! They actually did something good on Photoshop. Holy shit. It's amazing. This is the first actual good thing that Photoshop has done in like the 20 years that I've been using it. Did it not work before? So before it would only Control-Z once. Like it had the earlier undos, but you had to do something really convoluted to go get them. Yeah, no, I'm amazed. This is awesome. Okay, so new 256 by 256. Like what? All right, we're just gonna do that. Oh, this is the other thing actually. This came several versions ago, but now when you make a new image, you can click on this to unlock it and actually do useful things, which did not used to be the case. You used to have to go like right click, layer from background, blah, blah, blah. It used to be like a multi-step process. And now it is not. So I take it back. There are two good things that they did in Photoshop. Okay, so we're, oh, come on, what? Come on, bro. Okay, so I'm gonna do this. We're going to make a square. That's all. It's going to be very simple. Actually, let's make it smaller. smaller. No, even smaller. Okay. I don't know, that's about centered. I don't actually care for now, because this is all going to be replaced by the art team later. Okay. It's always hard, like this in Photoshop never comes out the way it does in an actual thing. So I think I'm going to turn the opacity up, and then we're going to make a new layer, and we're going to do another square. And this is just going to be for saying what a keystroke is. So interior to this, we're going to draw like a key letter, right? I wish they would make saving things easier. Go on. Data, bitmaps. PNG. Keyboard. No, keyboard key. .png. Save. Boy, that was slow saving right there. Okay, let's get rid of this. Why do they have a deformed Pac-Man in the corner? Okay. What am I even doing? So let's put all this stuff in a separate file, all the control prompt stuff, because that's different from other HUD things, and it'll just be clear. I don't make new files too often. Okay. So, is there anything that we needed in HUD? Faders, that's all other stuff. Sign info. Okay. Let's see if that compiles. SVN. Hey, I guess my machine rebooted because we're not dereferencing a nil pointer. Okay. Build. Okay. So we've got this. I'm going to say texture map keyboards. What did I call it? Keyboard key. Keyboard key. Wait, what's key icon? Oh, that's that. Keyboard key. I'm going to say TM keyboard key. All right. If TM keyboard key init control prompts. Okay. Let's just do that officially. Let's say initted is false. Init. It's like an English person saying init. Equals true. Keyboard key is fine. Texture, catalog, keyboard key. Okay. Oh, that's C++. Okay, great. So now we want to draw this and the other thing. So let's put all this, let's put all our variables in the same place. Okay. So we're going to want something called control prompt margin. And that's just going to be how much distance there is between like the keyboard key and the other stuff. And this is going to be relative to width of, or height, relative to the pixel size computed by screen height fraction. So screen height fraction is like 72 pixels. This will be 72 times 0.12, like rounded to the nearest whatever. Okay, so height fraction, right? And let's cast this to an integer. All right. And margin, okay, wait. Let's say FW is this. W is cast S32 FW times O times plus O.5. So we're just trying to round to nearest, right? And so F margin is FW. So you want to use the floating point version before you round it to integer because you want to be more accurate, right, with regard to rounding off to individual pixels. F margin. And you want to be, generally, if you're drawing bitmaps like this, you want to be pixel accurate, is the point. Maybe we should draw 3D things and use anti-aliasing. But we're generally, if it involves text, we're generally doing it at, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. FW times HUD visuals dot control prompt margin. Margin is cast S32. F margin plus 0.5. Why am I putting the 0? It's not C. Okay, so we're going to do that. We're going to do this. We're going to do, we're not going to worry about centering these yet. And then we're going to go, we're going to do another quad. TM keyboard key first. We're going to do that there. And then we're going to say actually, let's do this. Floor. Let's just do that. Because we don't. Okay. And then this. See. All right, whatever. We're not being that careful right now. So we bump all these over by margin plus W. and then we do this. And this assumes that both bitmaps are square. We'll probably do something smarter later. Okay, HUD visuals undeclared identifier. Oh, because it's in file scope. Okay. I look well rested. I don't feel well rested. Okay, hey, check it out. We've got 2 bitmaps now. And they're controllable in size and margin. So I can go to my all.variables, right? And I can say, wow, I don't really see that outer glow that I put on the bitmap very much. Like I said, in Photoshop, you tend to really have to overdo it. All right. So I can put this margin here to be 0, right? And that'll scrunch them. There's some width in the bitmaps, so I could go -0.2 to crunch them even more. Or I could go 1 to put them really far apart. 10 to put the other one off the way over there. Okay. I think my guess of 0.12 was pretty good, though. You just call the init stuff one time at the beginning, no need to check every time. It's true. It's just a style difference. The good thing about doing it this way is that you don't have to, like, we tend to build a lot of stuff into our main program. So like the editor is in the main program, but also like batch stuff like light mapping is a special mode in which we run the main program. And so we don't pay for initializing this other stuff if we start up in those other modes because we never call it. But the downside is well, it doesn't really cost that much to load a couple bitmaps, so who cares? Maybe more if you sum it across many subsystems, but still. But B, you don't really want to do it the way I just did it because your startup, like you want to pay for your startup cost all at the same time during game startup in a well-defined place. Like, so if we're loading some bitmaps that we're going to use for HUD stuff, we probably want to load those in parallel at the same time we're loading some other things, you know, so that we don't take a long time to start up. And so this is the kind of thing that would get refactored later when we care about that sort of thing. But I don't try to solve all these problems at once, and so I'm just doing it this way. It's all good. Okay. So what I think I'm going to do is, first of all, I stored the position of this thing instead of the entity that it's attached to. Because I was thinking, well, if the entity disappears, like if the character gets disintegrated, you don't want the prompt to abruptly disappear. But I don't like this leaving it behind when it fades out. I'd rather it go with me as it fades out. So I think we're going to store the entity and the coordinates, right? And so we'll use the coordinates as a backup if the entity does not exist. Now, the extra annoying thing about that is it means that we would have to store multi-coordinates. Oh, we'll just save the entity's position. That way, if we do the thing where we draw it multiple times for multiple screen repeats, we'll just use that position. All right. I like this. Okay, so, and in a minute, we're going to factor this out. Actually, you know what? Let's factor this first. So I was also thinking that I want to draw multiple prompts because right now it'll fade smoothly in or out, but if you transition from one prompt to another, like it'll hard cut. And this is a game where you might have multiple characters. So if you switch characters, you may need the prompt position to switch immediately, and you don't want a hard teleport. You want the old one to fade out. So we're going to say active prompt is a struct, and it's going to have these things. Okay? And we are just going to refactor these without changing anything. We're going to say active prompt, and then first time. So let's say AP is active prompt. So for now, we're still just going to have one. We're just refactoring to put this stuff into a struct. And then actually, let's do this. So for now, we just do this. But later, we would iterate over all the prompts, right? Oh, similarly here. Update control prompts. Okay, this is a little bit weird. I'm not going to think about this too hard yet. We probably want to iterate over all the prompts and set still desired equals false. And then when we trigger one, we would set it to true on that particular. We would look for a matching prompt. We'll worry about that in a bit when we want to do multiple. So, okay, so AP dot, AP dot, AP dot. I should just okay. All right. Easy peasy. Okay, great. We're going to improve the actual bitmaps in a little bit. Let's check this in. And I'll warm up some tea water, and then we'll do more things. Refactoring HUD prompt stuff. While I warm up some tea water, are there any questions? I know we're just getting into it. Are there any questions about what I'm doing so far? No questions. No questions. Well, water's not ready yet. So let's do the thing where we store the entity on the active prompt. And actually, let's do this first. So we're going to store the entity and the backup position. Used only if the entity ID has ceased to exist. And entity ID. Okay, so we're going to get rid of X and Y. And down here where we save the X and Y, right, here we're just going to say, what do I call it, backup entity position? We're just going to set the position because we don't want to save the screen coordinates because, like, you know, somebody could change the display aspect ratio while the game's running, and if the prompt's fading out, it'll be bad. I mean, that's a very corner case, but when games do stuff like that, it feels really bad, right? You want good engineering across your whole game. So backup entity position is e.position, all right? And then okay. So the reason we do that is because now every time when we were about to draw the prompt, we figure out where on the screen it should be. And that okay. So we're going to say get control prompt positions with just position there. Oh, and not even position. It's visual position, damn it. Okay. I shouldn't call the other one position. I should call it physical position or gameplay position, because I make that mistake all the time. So I don't. Let's make sure we're not. Yeah. All right, so manager and whoops, not pause. All right, so we call that AP is used before its declaration. Line 182. $194. Yep. I'm going to put these in the other order because that's the order they're declared in the struct. It'll be less confusing. Okay, 124. Really? Oh, we need this. passing it down. Okay, so hopefully this still works. Yep. It's using... Why is it using his gameplay position? I thought I typed visual position. Let's check that. Those are right. Okay, what? Oh, because we're not setting it every frame. That's the problem. We're just setting it when he enters the square. So it's using the right position. Right. So this is working as desired. I just didn't think through all the consequences. So we're going to say that if the entity is still alive, use its current visual position. Otherwise, use if the entity still exists. Let's not say alive, because characters can be dead but still existing. Otherwise, use the one we stored in the prompt. So if E is find manager ap.entity_id, if E position is E.visual position. Okay. That's good, because then we don't really have to test to see if it's working. We'll know it's working when the behavior changes. It's still not working. Huh. I think. I mean, we should, yeah. Very weird. Oh, maybe we're using the wrong entity. Okay, now see, we want hero. See, okay, we're using the position of the auxiliary object, and okay. See, E is like the other thing, like the gem or slot or whatever. So no wonder that's not moving, because that thing doesn't move. Okay. Both variables were wrong for that. There we go. Okay, that's better. And as we walk off of a thing, it fades out, so that's good. Right, right. Great. Great. I think we want to draw this even a little bit higher. So let's go, instead of 1.2, we'll say HUD control HUD visuals dot control prompt z offset in world space. Let's guess 1.4. See, the reason I want this higher is like it's kind of covering up his head and the top of his backpack, which is where those gems are showing up too, right? So we're covering the thing that's going to change when he picks things up. So we're recompiling so that that variable is defined. All right. Let's do even more. And we might want to define it differently later, because the camera angle being different, like if the camera angle's more overhead, the z offset will not be very much. And so we might want like an XY, I don't know. For now, we're just going to do this. So 1.4, not enough. 1.8. Okay. That's good for now. See, and then We'll make the gems flash a little bit when you pick them up. It'll be great. We'll make them flash when you put them down. Okay. We are being successful game developers today. It's all good. So, then what? When you refer to a bitmap, the image doesn't necessarily need to be a BMP file. No, in fact, when we ship the game, it definitely won't be a BMP file. That one I think I saved as a PNG. We load a few different formats. Okay. So now let's come up with a case. So here, I'll pick up a gem. And then as I walk from this square to this square, the prompt is changing. Oh, maybe. Maybe that's fine. But the case that I'm really worried about is like this. Say I've got two guys. See, that's a little bit right? Okay, so let's have an array of prompts that are live. And instead of taking, right now there's just one that we're taking over and changing the position. And so we'll have multiple, and one will fade out and the other will fade in. So we've done a lot of the groundwork for that. We will say active prompts is an array of active prompts. Now, okay, so all of these update control prompts for active prompts, so there we go. And then this active HUD prompt is going to search. And you know what? We're gonna pass hero in there. See, here we say get active hero, and that's redundant. We have it up here, and we'll pass it to all of these. All right. So right, and then there. Okay. So we will find a matching prompt if we can. Okay. So we get rid of that. So this AP is going to be find or add active prompt. See, there's a couple ways of doing this. I could just pass the parameters of what I want to match against. And the problem with that is as I add more things that are relevant for matching, then I have to keep adding parameters and stuff. Whereas if I say this code doesn't have to be that fast, I can just fill out a prompt as if it was the global. Yeah, okay. I'm going to try this. Prompt as if it were the one to become the active prompt in the array. Then ask if any prompt matches. We do this so that we won't have to keep adding arguments to the matching procedure as we add more data members to the prompt struct that we may want to match on. Is this a good idea? Dunno. Okay. So we're going to go AP is an active prompt. We set the entity ID. We set the backup entity position. And name. AP. So okay, so we're going to need to do this stuff. Okay. What is this called? To match. All right. Okay, we're going to do some stuff. And then we're maybe going to find a new prompt. And then after we do that, we're going to say, not, okay. Okay. So if we didn't find it, then well, array add active prompts to match. We probably have something like push. Do we have that? Like if you think of this array as like a stack, which isn't really, but yeah. Okay, we have a pop. Add. Yeah, whatever. Whatever, we just do this. Not colon equals. So we add that, and then we set this pointer, and then this stuff down here happens, and we say it's still desired, and we set the first time. Okay, so for the active prompts, now we match it, right? Well, if it.entity ID not equal to match.entity ID, continue. If it.name not equal to match.name, continue. For now, that's all. So if you move from one prompt to another with the same character, like we're not storing anything here about the utility item, the item that you'd be acting on. So it'll snap right now, but I think maybe we want that because a fade is weird in that case because you're cross-fading between things being drawn on top of each other. And like I think you want something snappy when you're just moving on top of things in multiple squares. We can, of course, make that like flash so we can detect that situation and make it higher production value, but for now it's just going to snap. All right, so here we'll say AP equals it and break. Okay, so yeah. Oh, whoops. Right. Active prompt, lowercase, is not a type. Okay. Well, we're not drawing anything now. I forgot to search, so where do we go? AP colon equals? Nowhere. All right. So we are failing to draw HUD prompt. Very weird. Oh, and we also need to remove things. If the alpha is less than or equal to 0, okay. Oh, wait, active prompt is still there. This should go. See, I accidentally used it, but I didn't realize, like, oh, okay, so this is like for prompt active prompts. We draw all the prompts, and then after that, if prompt.alpha is less than or equal to 0, remove prompt. Okay, actually we could do that before the draw. Maybe. Well, whatever. Okay, we've got a prompt. And you've got a prompt. You get a prompt, and you get a prompt. Everybody gets a prompt. See, look at that. Look at that. This guy could even be going downstairs. Great. Great. Okay. We're so much successful game developing right now. Well, I mean, we could check that in. Control prompt fade improvements. So now, whoops. We have a no check-in. And it's just this, but of course, I did fix that because we're using that. Why do you break after the first iteration? Because we found it. Where's that? Here. Like, we're just saying iterate over all the prompts. If it didn't match, continue. But if all the things we list here match, then we found it and break. It's a pattern that I use a lot. Okay. This is all good. Now what? Well, there are several things we could do. We could work on the bitmaps to make them nicer, which maybe isn't that exciting. I will do that soon. Let's draw the keystroke. Right. And I think I'm going to use for this the enums. Actually, I think what I said about fading in, I think I didn't do that. I think maybe we don't even want to check the name. We just want to check the entity ID, right? So if I'm this guy, see, we're fading one prompt to another, which looks extra weird because it's, how about this one there? I don't know, maybe that's fine, actually. Maybe that's fine. Okay, anyway. We want to now add to the prompt an indicator of what key you're telling them that they want to press. And the reason we leave the key bitmap blank is because, you know, people want to remap keys or whatever the hell, right? So we're going to have to deal with that. Okay, we have this action type, right? Activate, magic, take or drop, character switch. Yeah, and we overload the controls right now. So like activate does elevators or mirrors or both, or magic item. So I think we just use these. And we're going to check that in the matching. Okay, and here we're going to pass the action. Okay. Using action type. So this is hero, gem, take or drop, right? That's what key we're telling them to press. Take or drop. Here, take or drop. I think it's take or drop. UI arrow up, that's activate, activate. This is, whoops, wait, I don't want to, it goes here. I don't want to replace that argument, even though we're not using it yet, or maybe ever. activate, and then UI arrow up for dragon. I think it's take or drop, because you're kind of like taking the dragon. Okay. Okay, let's make sure we didn't break anything. Yep. Okay, great. So now we'll have a procedure called, we're going to hard key code these for now, but later they'll look up key remappings. We'll say get key string for action type returns a string, right? Using action type. If action type is equal to, if complete, action type is equal to this, case assert false. Okay. Maybe we ought to have assert false automatically. Like an if complete probably should just add this case or something. I don't know if you don't do it. Log print prompt invalid action type oops error. Okay, so delta okay, case undo, return Z, activate, return X. Like I said, I'm not even going to bother formatting these nicely because later they're just going to be lookups. Take or drop. Return V. And character switch. We don't prompt character switch right now, but we might in some levels. And in fact, I think I have that. Let me check if that's on my to-do. We might do that tonight if we crank through everything else on related to this. So like in some of the beginning Heroes of Sokoban levels where we first introduced two characters, we might prompt a character switch. Okay. Okay. Are we doing bitmap fonts or messing with something like sign distance fields? We just load TrueType files and use either FreeType or SDB TrueType to convert them to a texture atlas. I do not have a computer science degree. Okay. Does that compile? Yes. Okay, so this is good. So now when we draw this thing, okay, we're going to want several more things. What fonts do we have available? No, fonts. Okay. We'll use Anonymous Pro, let's say. Yeah. Okay, so we'll say control prompt font anonymous pro. I don't remember what we do for memory management there. So that's fine. And then when we initted, say font key keyboard font. It's a font. Do we have a font catalog? How do we do this? Yeah, we call it get font its size. All right. So we're going to need a couple other variables probably. Control prompt. Control prompt font y offset. I'm going to paste that for a second so I can get it back. Relative to that same pixel size. So this is so we can center it up and down. All right. Okay, when we draw this keyboard key, oh wait, initted. When we initialize, we say font is get font at size. HUD visuals.control prompt font. Now that said, when this string changes, we don't really have a way to we have to restart if we ever want to change the font, because we only call this once at startup. Or not at startup, but when we do the first frame. Oh, actually, we can't even do this here. Because somebody might change the window and whatever. So we're going to say update font size. All right, so last control prompt W is -1.0, update font size. New W is a float. If new W is not equal to last, or if it's equal to last control prompt W return, like I always will, or not always, but mostly will fail out instead of nesting if I have that choice. So then we say this equals new W, because we want people to be able to resize the window, right? So get font at size. We need a value for prompt font size. Same story with this. Font size is floor. HUD visuals dot control prompt font size times new W plus 0.5 to round. Okay, font size. Maybe it wants this to be an integer. Wait, font. That's fine. We pass it the string name here. Backup font name and font size. Okay. Let's just see if all that compiles. It probably doesn't. Nope. Undeclared identifier font. Oh, it's called keyboard font. It's like keyboard cat, but it's keyboard font. Is it called dynamic? Okay, great. So nothing eventful really should be happening. We're still not actually drawing this. Let's add a color to our variables. You know what? Instead of saying control prompt everything, let's just call this control prompt visuals. Right? And if we want other HUD stuff, we'll put that in a different place. Now the problem is, whoops, we can't do this to everything. No. Let's do dot control prompt underscore to dot. Let's try that. Whoops. Ha ha. Okay, that was not painful. Not painful at all. All right, still no change. That's fine. So now we're going to say color is a vector 4 and color or text color as O.1, 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 1. Right? Great. Okay. So now when we draw this first thing, we're going to say draw text. Shader text. Do we do anything weird? Draw text. We don't even set the shader to text. Let's go somewhere that we know frickin' works. Yeah. So we have a draw text. Keyboard font. KX, KY. Color. text effect, right? So effect, it's not going to be anything right now. Text is going to be, we'll just look it up once. Actually, no, because somebody could remap while the frickin' prompt is up. So text is going to be, what did we call it? Get key string for action type, ap.action type. Did we call it AP maybe? Keyboard font. Color is yeah. Control prompt, I was just checking to make sure that I didn't mess that up in my search and replace. So control prompt visuals.text color. We might want to animate this in some way, so that's why I'm making it a temporary variable. So for now, okay, we're going to say kx is floor p0.x plus w times 0.5 plus 0.5, right? Ky is p0.y plus offset y. Both are already integer valued. They're floating point numbers, but they're integer valued. What is offset y? Well, that is this thing. W times font y offset in this thing, right? So, right, so that's floor of that plus 0.5. All right, so we bump it by an offset, and that's the offset of the baseline of the font. Oh, but we don't want, shoot. We don't want p0.y plus offset, do we? I mean, we'd really rather try to center it. Okay. So p0.y plus w minus, w is both the width and height because it's a square, minus keyboard font dot. I thought it's font, frickin'. I don't agree with this, this placement of this library. Okay, so we have character height, we have default line spacing, typical ascender and typical descender. Yeah, I mean, I think, let's just say, just give it a real short name. Font is keyboard font. And then we're doing some stuff here. I mean, we could center the actual character because we know the character. Oh, Y offset for centering. Is that actually set? Yes. Okay, that's great. No, that's what we wanted. We didn't have that in previous games readily, and so I would have to hack it. Okay, so it is p0.y plus so we take the height, we subtract I actually don't know how to use this. Do we use this somewhere in this program? All right, we do. Y plus height times 0.5. Oh, so it's the offset from the center of the region. That is great. Good job, me. Good job, me. Okay. Semicolon expected after a declaration. Number mismatch. Wanted S64. Really? Who knows what that's going to do? People. Oh, okay. I didn't think of something, which is as the camera moves in, the fact that, watch this. Oh, actually. So see how I don't know if this shows very well on Twitch, but the prompt looks jittery as we move the camera in, and it's because it's not it doesn't have subpixel motion, because I'm intentionally rounding off the subpixel motion, and that's causing it to look shitty. So we might have to do that, or maybe we'll just render it in 3D and it'll be awesome. So anyway, yeah, even when the character's running around, it looks a little jittery because we're rounding it to pixels. Braid actually does this too. The character looks a little jittery sometimes because of this. Yuck! All right, well, we'll worry about, I mean, I could also be messing up the rounding, but I think it's just, yeah, see, you can see it snapping to pixels. I hope I'm snapping to the right resolution. Anyway, worry about that later. We're getting it working. Yeah, it's off center. We don't care about centering this right now. We just want to know why the text didn't draw. One of the most likely answers is the alpha is 0. Another answer is, I mean, it looks, oh, font size 0, okay. Okay. Update font size. Font size. Oh, we made it 0, people. We just declared that the font size is 0. Good job, me. I think if you declare that your font size is... Okay, people ask me, how do you really get ahead in the games industry? Like, what should I really do in order to be the best and survive and make games that people love and really are inspired by and really want to play? And the answer is, don't set the font size to 0. If you do that, you're not going to have a good time. Better performance with font size 0. That is true. Okay, let's vertically center this, and then we haven't put horizontal centering in yet, so let's vertically center it. No, we didn't put that in the file. Font Y offset. It looks like 0.04. Oh, minus 0.04. Sorry. It's not using it. This is having no effect. Does it? Okay, our print is drowning out any log messages. Let's look at Y, font Y offset. Oh, because we're rounding it. I mean, if it's too small, it'll go to 0, so you won't see any motion. And then we're not using offset Y. Okay. Let's do the X centering while we're here. So we have this get string width in pixels. Text width is get string width in pixels. Font text effect, and then usually we could just draw the temporary glyphs without whatever. We're not going to worry about it. All right. Horizontal center. Okay, hey, it looks like my vertical isn't too bad. I think we want it down a little more. Six, 5, okay, something like that. So at some point, I think we stop prompting you. Like, maybe after you've picked up like 20 gems and dropped like 20 gems, we just stop saying that. You know what I mean? And like we slowly fade it out as you get to like 15 to 20. Okay, so let's check this in, and then we'll make some slightly better. These ones I'll just leave. Actually, let's center this over the guy. Right. So right now we're sort of picking the center of the keyboard button to be above the character square. And I think if we just like put the center of gravity of both of these over the character square, that's fine. We'll probably want to have a fudge factor for each individual prompt, but we'll do that later when we actually graphically design these for real. For now, we're just doing the programming. All right. Anyway. This is maybe a little big now, too. A little big. This game isn't for babies. Come on. All right, let's do that. Oh, my variables file, line 76. Doesn't like this? Maybe it wants it right after the number? Okay, that's really annoying. Oh, unable to load Anonymous Pro. I guess we don't load TTFs. That's fine. I didn't really have an opinion about it right now. So we'll load in Consolata. I guess we're using STB TrueType or something. Maybe that, I don't know. Maybe we just assume the extension is OTF and don't even try otherwise. That could be true. Okay. So, draw HUD prompt. We said we were going to fx minus, let's save this, minus w minus margin times 0.5, like that. Okay. See, this is a little bit, it's a little bit off center, but that's due to perspective, I think. Like, see, when I'm more on the right of the screen, it's like off to the left a little bit. We might fudge that later, again, once we start graphically designing things, but for now, I'm not that worried about it. I just want to program all the things. Okay, let's commit that. Print keyboard controls for prompted actions. Great. Wow, I said that kind of thing about nobody in the chat caring about programming way back in 2017. Some things never change. Some things never change. Okay. Well, now what? What did I say we were going to do? We were going to eat some chocolate. I swear I had a plan for what to do after centering it. Somebody remind me what it was, if anybody is paying attention to anything but Sonic. Will these hints be there all the time? Probably not. I was just talking about, and one thing we might even do today is like if you pick up a bunch of gems, it'll probably fade out, right? Because you know the control. Like that's something I've wanted to do for a long time is like, hey, gradually fade the prompt out as the player gets used to the control. Yeah. We could do that now. Okay, let's do it, because that'll be fun. And we're going to have a separate counter per category. Like, let's say num. Like you pick up gems a lot, but you don't pick up artifacts very often, and you might not even recognize what they are. Num gem pickups for fade start. Let's say like 10. Let's say like 12, 22. So it'll start fading at 12 and it'll get dimmer and dimmer. And by the time you've picked up gems 22 times, it's just gone. These may not be the right numbers. Maybe detective the player hasn't played in a while. Yeah, maybe. Also, we probably will have an option on the menu to reset control prompts without resetting the game. Changing arrow into dot. Yeah, I know, man. That by itself is a good enough reason to switch programming languages. Right. So picking up a gem, picking up a placement, placing a gem. Num artifact pickups. Oh, num elevator rides. Dragon pickups or drops. I mean, arrow is a convenient shorthand. What do you mean, who thought it was a good idea? It was the good idea so that you didn't have to type open paren star whatever, close paren dot whatever. It was a brilliant idea. Why wasn't just normal dot notation not used? Because probably making sure that you knew that it was a pointer. Some things are very easy in hindsight. I'll just put it that way. Also, people didn't really refactor code as much back then, honestly. Especially not refactoring things in a data-oriented way where you would change arrow to dot. Okay. So now, I don't want to pass all this stuff. Oh my God. Okay, so we need like a campaign state to have these. Levels visited. Known gem pickups. Let's make these all S32 just because. I mean, if you place 4 billion gems in one game session, it'll reset. Okay. Okay, so now before we do the visuals, I want to go make sure that our game code gets all of these. So yeah, I still do that. Okay. So take gem. Oh, but there's a special. Okay. This is a whole separate thing we're going to have to tutorialize later. Don't worry about what I'm doing right now. It doesn't matter. Okay. Yeah, default's false. Okay, so toggle friendly dragon. Okay. And then just elevator rides. There we go. Now we're not really saving these. I don't think we really saved. Let me see if we're saving campaigns right now. Roaming. Sokoban. No. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. Okay, so I'm not going to worry about it yet. Although this is a thing that I'm going to want to do soon, because one of the reasons why I'm doing this prompt stuff is to get the game more toward where random people could play it, and control prompts is one of those things that will help random people play it. Okay. All right, so. Okay, we're not fading the text out with the thing. I was thinking that was true before. So before we actually use these, let's fix that. There we go. All right. So we might even want to make it fade out on successful action faster than if you walk away. That's an advanced style thing that I'm not going to worry about. Okay. Let's make these numbers a little lower for testing purposes. Okay. So when we do these prompts, we're going to say, right, it's an update control prompts. We're going to get the campaign state here. And we're going to have just a routine called fade. That's like fade F is fade. This really should be a macro, but we don't have frickin' macros. Forgot that. It is synthetic. Yeah. Right, and then we're going to say fade is F. I'm going to do this on all of these. Okay, so we're going to say here, fade is a float. We're going to say if fade, no fade return. It really should be. See, fade is the wrong word for it. Let's say, because fade of 1 would mean like disappeared, and this is. Okay. Right? Okay. Fade is low, high value, right? Result is value minus low divided by denom. Okay, wait. One minus, right? So if value is less than low, value minus no is going to be negative. This is going to be greater than 1, which is what we want. I hope. I get confused about these sometimes. Okay, so we're just less than or equal to low is 1.0. High is 0.0. And in between, it's a linear thing. Okay, so F all right. Elevator rides. Okay. Who knows? What you call is missing opacity. Wait, what? I put the argument, what am I doing? I meant to do it here. Okay. Right. Okay, hold on. Whatever that means. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Uh-oh. Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's getting dimmer. Now it's gone. Now it's gone. But placement, I've hardly placed that many gems. So we get a prompt for that. I really think we want to account for perceptual nonlinearity there. There we go. All right. I think we could use making the fade a little longer, but I think in the real numbers it will be. So let's just say 20. I mean, we're going to err on the side of being thorough. In Promise, you do a lot of placements. I don't know. These are random numbers. We'll tune them later for whatever feels good. Okay. So, fade out control prompts after a while. Now, it's an interesting thing. So like in Braid, we left the control prompts on for the whole game. And that was fine. And it helps in part because like when the prompt comes up, it's how you know you're in the right place over the door to use the door, right? Because, you know, you're in a continuous position near a door or whatever. Whereas in this game, that's not true. Like if you're either on the square or you're not on the square. So I think it makes more sense Like the prompt doesn't really serve a functional purpose at that point. We'll see. Maybe we'll turn off this fade out. Maybe we'll keep it. It's all good. Any min-max concept like a tuple. Wait, what do tuples have to do with min-max? I don't... Like, so you don't need two variables. But you need two variables anyway. That's just cosmetic. I mean, I could make a struct with two members in it and assign it to a struct literal, right? I didn't care because I don't want to complicate this that much. And because I want to make it easy to refer to these names in this variables file. So, you know. Like that... Saying something.min and something.max would not be a language feature. That would just be a struct that you make. Okay. So I think we can make slightly better, slightly more evocative control bitmaps. So I want to do like gem placement and removal. Okay, so here we're going to say place gem, prompt place, or take gem, prompt place, why can I not type all of a sudden? Prompt place gem, and we're going to make bitmaps for those. I don't think I added this bitmap, by the way. I think I forgot. Why is Windows so bad? Add. Commit. I did not. Add missing bitmap. Okay. So what did I say these were? Prompt take gem, prompt place gem. So we're going to go here and I'm going to pull these into Photoshop. Okay. And 256 by 256 is probably too small, but whatever. Okay. So we're going to want place gem and take gem. So we're going to go God damn, dude. How do I say fixed aspect ratio on Control T? Does that do that? Yes. That's weird. Okay, what am I even working on? Wait, did it cancel me? It canceled my Control T because I didn't, because it's butt shop. That's why. I could like have the sizes of these. I can have the gem be bigger as it's right. I mean, I don't know, dude. Okay, we need to make these a lot smaller. Right. Okay. We're going to do like this and this. No. We're going to put them, and we're just going to have a down arrow. That is all right, and then we're going to duplicate this image, and here we're going to erase that, and we're going to make this one smaller and this one bigger. And we're going to go and we're going to go actually, oh my God, it's so good that you can Control Z multiple times. I take back every bad thing that I ever said about Photoshop. No, I don't actually, but you know. Work in progress. Okay, so we've got to do our outer glow. It's going to be like massively opaque. Oh, wait. How do I group the? I never remember. Oh yeah. Wait, what is going on? All right. That didn't fix it. Which one is it? Really? It's my arrow? I must have had turds left over in my arrow. Okay, can I leave this up and erase? No, I can't. All right. All right. better. Except we want it on this. I don't know. I never know. It never looks like frickin' anything anyway. So we're going to do that. And we're going to... What do we call it? Prompt take gem. Look at my awesome artwork. Okay. These are going to be so amazing now. You're going to be amazed at how good these are. Wait. Did we not recompile? Oh, we have to put... That's what's going on. We have to do this. We actually have to put the name. Okay, we could try Anonymous Pro then. Okay, nobody knows what the fuck that's a picture of, but... All right. So now the problem is this won't refresh. We could force it to refresh. Well, we'll just restart. We could change the font height and it would refresh the font, but yeah. Yeah, I don't like this one as much. Like, what is this off-center V bullshit? Oh, dude, this font sucks. All right, in Consolata. Yeah, maybe the prompt should be animated. Maybe that makes it too annoying. We'll figure it out later. Like right now, the sizes are weird, right? Like it's too small now that I've made it a thinner thing. This is just all things that are going to be graphically designed for real. The point now is just to program them. Whatever. I'm not even going to do bitmaps for the dragon because I don't know what that'll look like. I think this has been successful. So my next idea is to start adding prompts for the tutorial-y things. So for example, this is a spoiler for people who haven't played this game. Here, if I just cheat and go downstairs and go through the wall, I can get this zapper, right? And then I come over here and I'm supposed to zap. And in the original game, you know, it says press X or Z to zap or whatever it is. You know, we could prompt it just every time you're in front of something zappable. Instead of hard coding it, I was going to hard code it here. But we could just do it like, you know. You could just do it if you're facing something zappable. I think that's a good plan. Yes, it's a massive spoiler. You think it needs to be bigger, more noticeable of what it's saying and telling you? Maybe, but if things are too noticeable, they're annoying. I don't know. I mean, again, it doesn't matter. Like, we're not actually designing the visuals right now. We are, I mean, it also depends on the device a little bit. If this was on a phone, you might not be able to read that. So that's a consideration. But we're not really designing the visuals right now. We're just making sure that the foundation is laid for doing the actual visual design. The beam did turn on the first time. It's just that rock was in front of it blocking it, right? So, at least I think so. See if I go here, here. Oh, wait, no, it didn't turn on. You're right. There's a bug. That's weird. And now I can't get it to happen again. Well, if you ever figure out why that happens, let me know. So doing this gem in the backpack thing caused a couple of bugs that I had to fix at work today. So this may be related to that. I don't actually know. Okay, let's search for zappables. And if that happens, okay. We'll just search for one right now. Okay. So, incomplete. And also okay. So she's got the okay. Oh, it's called hero, not guy. Hero, zappable, activate, and let's just do, let's be lazy. UI arrow. Oh, it's in a different folder. Data. No. UI arrow, right. Okay. And F is not, whoops. Okay. Get zappable and blocker needs to be exposed. Oh, this is not even frickin' file scope, dude. It's like locally scoped. Still. Well, we can test this actually on this test level because this is a zapper right here. Also, because this is a magic item that I'm wearing, like if you look real close, see he's got this. We might make it like glow and have particles. It's a weird shader. It's doing some screen space reflection that's not good at that scale. We might have it glow when you have a target and like have particles coming off it. What do you show if you can both zap, pick up a gem, both prompts? No. I'm not going to worry about it that much. Right now, we prioritize by just, in that function where we decide what prompt to show, we just return as soon as we decide. Let me make sure I did that for zap, but I didn't do that correctly. So we return, so we just decide not to do any other ones. We could, if we wanted to, add multiple prompts. The problem is right now we draw them on top of each other. So we would either want to alternate them in the same position or draw them next to each other or something. Just more of a hassle than I care about right now. These are just supposed to be tutorial, you know, they're not supposed to be enumerating every action you can do at all times. At least that's my current theory. Okay. Well, now there's some that are a little bit more situational. Oh, there's entering levels on the overworld. We could look at that. That's something players are going to need to know. We've got zaps. And then there's character switch. Let's look at levels on the overworld for a second. So here, you know, I can walk on top of these. And wow, I guess if we draw a prompt, it's going to go on top of this bitmap, but that's fine. We have to figure out where and how to draw these level bitmaps so that they don't look super ugly anyway. So anyway, I hit activate and I go in, etc. Okay, let me warm up some more tea water. Questions about, actually, let's check this in. Are there any questions about what's going on? Questions, people. Prompt when standing in a laser. No, because usually, like if you're standing in a laser, it's not any control button that you hit. It's just your motion is affected in some way. And so we're going to have visual effects on you that try to illustrate the power that you have, but it's not, there's not going to be like a button prompt because that's a different thing. Did we write our own model loader? Yes. Yes. How to transition between Promised and the overworld. I could show you, yeah, right now, you know, if we go to the overworld, you just kind of go directly in there from here. I don't know if we're going to have, whoops. We're still figuring out the structure of this. So, you know, there might be more of an intermediate. But anyway, so this, we should regenerate these bitmaps today. Anyway, so I go here, and there's no explicit thing that I could stand on here to exit. So I could just go exit to overworld from there. Oh, mistake. We're prompting for the baby dragon, which we shouldn't do. Let's fix that before I make my tea water. If it's a baby, okay, it's not a baby. Dragon must not be a baby. Okay. How's the water looking these days? It's in progress. Do I do the technical artwork on the water? No, that is being delegated to other people on the team who are handling it. I'm sort of, discussing with them what the next steps are once in a while about what to experiment with, but that's it. Okay. Okay. What else is going on, people? How many hours of sleep a night during the week? Like 8. You're curious what my wife thinks having a husband make video games at home as a job. I will ask my wife that question if I ever have one, which I currently do not. Is there an in-game explanation for what is going on there? There is not yet. There will be more of one. Yeah. Was accessibility a goal of the design of The Witness? To an extent it was, yeah. Like, that's one of the reasons why the controls are minimal and why there are very few timed elements in the game. And especially why it starts completely devoid of timed elements, and why you can't get killed, right? All these things. It still wasn't the primary thing about the game, but, you know, if you can make a game accessible to more people without degrading the value of the game, then why wouldn't you do that, right? I don't pay attention to game criticism. I don't. It's like reading YouTube comments, basically. Like, if you know better, you wouldn't read YouTube comments. It's the same with reading what game critics say about your games. I wish that wasn't true, but it totally is. There's very few game critics who actually know what they're talking about. It's not zero, but it's almost zero. How do I think cognitive accessibility fits in with puzzle games? I'm not really, that just wasn't something that I was thinking about very hard because they're puzzle games. So, like, the point of the game is to figure things out, and I didn't, you know, that's just what the game is. Do I know Yahtzee? No, I don't. Okay. So okay. Make sure my tea doesn't oversteep. Okay, the thing that is happening on the overworld is this use level entry. Where is that? Well, we say is on entry. How about is on enabled entry? And the reason we're factoring this out is to just have something common to call from over here so that we're not duplicating if statements and creating spaghetti code, right? So now when we go back to control prompts, we'll just say if is on entry hero if entry, we do something, return. Go to campaign, level entries, and we'll go here. All right. Let's see what happens. Hey. So now these are not being filtered out by enabled entries, so that's weird. Is on enabled entry. Oh, I didn't call enabled here. Duh. Bro. Bro. Okay, so that's enabled. That is not. These don't do anything. This one does. But if I shift F2, then these do things. Okay, great. Great. Now, let's make sure it doesn't prompt on these. I think these are totally separate entity types, and it shouldn't. Wow, we're grinding a lot of, okay. Yeah. Okay, good. So that is good. Prompt for level entries. where you set level complete tiers, like have a regular completion color and then one for completing the level and the least amount of moves. I don't know if we will know what the least number of moves are for a lot of these levels. It is under consideration that we will do something about optimizing the number of moves, but it's not clear. Like what I'm thinking is maybe the equivalent of a speed run, but like how many moves does it take you to 100% the game? And can you do it in under n moves for every level all added together? So you could like get down to that limit by, you know, optimizing some levels or other levels, right? If you, depending on what you could figure out. Hey, don't call people names on the chat. Like that, once you start doing that, all hope of reasonable discussion is rapidly going out the window. So I will time out people who do stuff like that. Thank you. Manners. Manners. Dude, people speedrun The Witness in a pretty serious way. I didn't think people would speedrun The Witness, but like speedrunners are serious people. You know what I'm saying? Consequences, like C++ has concepts. That would be pretty good. Actually, consequences would already be, that's almost like post conditions from contract programming, right? Consequences. Consequences. Okay, so I want to prompt mirrors, magic mirrors. Let's pick a new icon. I don't want to make any more bitmaps, so let's look at what we have. Let's go back to extra large icons. Of course, it doesn't show me TGAs. Why does Windows not know how to open a TGA? Like, that's so goofy. We're going to use water noise 1 as our mirror bitmap. Okay. So if something, we're going to do some things. Mirror water noise 1. Okay, campaign mirrors S32. Oh, we actually, these new things that we've been adding, I don't think we've been incrementing the actual variable, which means we will suffer consequences if we don't remember it. I hope somebody caught that in chat, but I don't think they did. Did we do it for zaps? No. No, you guys don't have my back. Borrow checker would have saved me. Totally. Borrow checker would have been like, dude, you didn't increment your num zaps thing. Because Rust finds all your bugs. Consequences. Okay. So use mirrors. All right. So Mirage is I think we just say if there's a valid Mirage. Okay, so control prompts. Okay. Okay. So if it dot invalid continue Mirage equals it break. Same thing we did before. Great. Okay. Level mirror 1. No prompt, no prompt. 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 A prompt makes things look shitty, but maybe it'll be better when it's better. It's not disappearing. Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay, great. Great. Prompt mirrors. Will you be able to turn off the grid pattern? Probably not. It'll be better that, like, the grid in the water especially is not final. It's gonna probably get a little subtler. The grid on the land is probably really baked into the things. Like, we're very concerned about playability. Okay. Okay, prompting character switch. This is one that This is one that maybe is less clear. So we want to do like heroes 1.7, 1.8, I feel like. Not yet. 1.11. So in this level, we want to prompt the control for character switch. And I kind of feel like it just needs to be like a hard-coded procedural thing. Like in this level, it's like if this switch is down, and this character's position is, you know, left of the switch, you know what I mean? So I think we could put something on Ocean Map, which is our class that we abuse to put everything on, right? So maybe we prompt it there. And maybe we prompt it, I don't know, maybe that's it for now. Like if we decide that we need more control prompting for it here, we could do that. Like maybe like if you do a bunch of moves on this level and you haven't switched characters yet, maybe we say, hey, you could switch characters, but one thing at a time. So I think I'm going to put a field on Ocean Map that's just got like a control prompt special hook, right? And we'll engage that here. If you start them off as the other character, you can just prompt them to switch right away. Yes, but I'd rather not. I'd rather not. I just like it better if the fighter moves first. Although that said, in the original Heroes of Sokoban, the turn order might have been the opposite, but this feels better to me. Like, because the game's not, like if you know how to play and you're just blasting through the level, the game's not fucking with you. It's like, look, this is the guy who needs to move, and then that's it. Like a very cheesy, cheap thing that puzzle games can do is like, always for every single puzzle, make sure that the guy who needs to move first is not selected initially. And it's kind of a cheap way of obfuscating puzzles. Like you want to do that sometimes, but if you do it all the time, it's just not. It reveals a certain, like it becomes like a cheap, bad parlor trick or something at some point, you know? So. You're only going to demonstrate really one mechanic a level. Why not just leave it prompt up top for one level only? It's not clear that that's the right thing. Especially because players are going to be looking at their character. They're not going to be looking at the top of the screen or whatever. I mean, we could put a prompt really big on the top of the screen. We might decide to do that. Again, what I'm doing right now is the technical foundation. I'm not doing the visual design. Separation of concerns, all right? This is how you get games done, is you don't rat hole on stuff that you're not actually working on. You want the distribution to be normal among correct and incorrect characters. Well, maybe not even that, but maybe more like, I mean, if there's 3 characters in the level, then it should be the right guy a third of the time, I guess, right? That's not exactly the same as what you said because, oh, I don't know. Like you want to think about if somebody knows your trick of selecting the initial character, does it make the level easier for them? Are they like, oh, this guy is last in the character selection order, therefore he must be the first guy who has to move to solve a puzzle? That's bad if somebody can read your game and do that. So instead, what you would rather do is like, if just somebody, like, do it on other aesthetic concerns. Like, if there's a line of characters, whoever's in front of the line, or like whoever's closest to the middle of the screen, or have it go top down, which is what we did here, right? Just have some order to it that explains why characters are in the order they are. And then whether or not that's the right character to move is incidental and it doesn't make your game feel cheesy. As someone who has been mired in the corporate ecosystem for a decade or two and despises it, I am interested in how development things run day to day at TechCloud. Do the developers work closely together? Do they constantly report progress and break tasks into weekly, bi-weekly chunks? Or do they operate mostly under their own agency and report in at certain milestones? I've made the assumption that you probably don't follow the trendy agile, Scrum, extreme methods that many do. That is correct. So people are mostly self-guided. The times that's not true is when somebody is explicitly junior and being trained up, or this doesn't happen too often, but you know, if someone isn't kind of working out and we're like, well, we need to either make this work out or reevaluate the employment situation, then we would put somebody on like a more managed schedule like that. But in general, the way the company works is we talk about high level stuff and then people do what they're going to do. That said, the art team does things differently than the programming team, and I don't follow that closely how the art team works. I think they do have a lot more meetings. I think that might be part of the problem. I just wish, like, I don't think there should be a weekly hour to 2 hour meeting. That's too much in my opinion, but some other people like that, I guess. You trust people when they deserve trust. Yeah, and you only hire people if you think they're going to deserve trust, right? Now, that said, it is true that that situation is harder to make happen the bigger the company is, because just the law of large numbers gets at you, right? But then even in a large company, you have to, like, the way large companies work is that there are the people who are good and know what the hell they're doing and do most of the real work. And then there's like everybody else, right? And this is not just my opinion. Like if you go back and read engineering memoirs, like the one I'm reading right now that Fabian tweeted the other day, like, you know, Bell Labs was like that. Intel was like that, maybe to a slightly lesser degree than Bell Labs. It's like, there's the people who get the real work done and who know how things happen. And then there's other people that just get hired because that's what happens. And you have to make sure that the people who really do the work done, who really do the important work and figure things out and get things done, you have to make sure those people feel respected and don't face too much friction. Once they don't feel respected, once they face too much friction or second guessing from people who shouldn't be getting in their way, then the company starts to die, right? So yeah, too much micromanagement of those people, bad idea. There's actually an anecdote about that happening at Intel in this thing that I'm reading right now. Have I heard the story of Netflix? Not really, but I don't feel like Netflix is a company that's doing a very good job these days. When they upped their prices, they lost a huge chunk of business and had to drop about half their workforce, and they discovered that they didn't lose any productivity at all. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Especially, so with, I don't know how Netflix grew initially, but if they did this startup company, like let's hire a bunch of people because we're going to IPO, yeah, most of those people are dead weight. 100% of the time that a company does that, they're mostly hiring dead weight in order just to bulk up. It's dumb. Do I think AI will replace many copy-paste programmers in the future? Not with classical programs, but like we're gonna move towards something like blueprints for most programming. And that could probably be AI more reasonably. And even if it's not, the number of programs you would need for that, or the number of programmers, human programmers you would need for that, is way less than what you need to do the equivalent trivial tasks today. So like, yeah, programmers are in trouble. Like low-skilled programmers, I keep trying to warn people about this and nobody understands what the hell I'm talking about. Like low to medium-skilled programmers are gonna get laid off en masse. I don't know when, maybe 10 years from now. I always call things too early, so maybe it's longer than that, but like most of those jobs are riding on this massive inefficiency that is that the way the web is set up is fucking stupid, and it takes 20 times as much effort to do every little thing on the web as it should. It should be much simpler than it is, right? And the thing is, because there's so many companies running on that infrastructure, once all the low-hanging fruit is gone, and they need to like fight to be profitable, as opposed to just sponging up all the free money, they're going to have to get more efficient because that's how you fight to be profitable. And what do? How do you get more efficient? You simplify all this massive complexity that's there for no reason, right? What happens when you do that? You need an order of magnitude fewer programmers. And so 90% of the programmers at web companies like Facebook or whatever are going to get fired. That's just what's going to happen. It may take a long time for that, but it's going to happen, I think. The demand for engineering far outstrips the supply. What I'm saying is the demand is going to drop drastically. That is what I'm saying in those terms. The demand for engineering right now is mostly fake. Okay, look, I tie this into my observation that I make all the time, that the average productivity of an engineer at a company like Facebook or Twitter is close to zero. It is a small positive number, but it's not far from zero, okay? So by definition, most of them are not really doing engineering on net. And so by definition, if efficiency is required from that company, most of those people will get fired. The whole reason that doesn't happen right now is because none of these companies have to be efficient because they're just soaking up free money. Now that may end up being true indefinitely, I don't know, but I kind of doubt it. I feel like the situation has to change. Why am I so sure that the web will be fixed? Because if you can fire 90% of your workforce, you will. If you're a company that's very expensive to run, and if you are able to do the same thing, if somebody comes to you with a plan and it's like, here's how we can do the same thing we're doing today, but our costs will drop by 90%, the people in charge of fiscal responsibility for that company will say, fuck yes, because if we don't do this, we'll be beaten down by competitors who do this. Now, of course, it won't be 90% in one step. It'll be 5 or 10% at a time, right? But it'll incrementally happen 5 or 10% at a time. You think Fang is tough to compete with? You'll see. Dude, who are you kidding? Do you know one of those A's in Fang is Amazon? Amazon is notorious for automating shit. Dude, Amazon will fire all of their programmers the instant they think they can. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You think Jeff Bezos wants more employees than he can get by with? It's just not how it works. Do I think a single company can do that kind of move? I think it's possible, but I think it's much more likely to happen incrementally over time. Any news on my new game reboot? We don't have a game reboot. What do you mean? I am not involved with a game called Reboot. Jeff Bezos once said that he aims to fire every single employee and automate everything. I believe that. I totally believe that. Like, and he doesn't just mean warehouse workers when he says that, okay? He means programmers. If you challenge Amazon with a better supply chain or ERP, they'll just buy you. No, dude. They will optimize their own supply chain. Are you kidding? Do you know how hard Amazon works to optimize their supply chain? Because they make more profit when they do that. That's the part you're missing here. Yesterday, you said that you can't productively comment on something if you're not a professional in that field, which I think I agree with, but how far would you take that statement? Would you also apply that to basic ideas in politics, for example? And what constitutes being educated enough? So politics is difficult. Okay, here's the reason it's difficult. On the one hand, yes, almost everything that everybody says about politics is completely incompetent and uninformed, right? And so they at least shouldn't believe that they have the right, that they're saying anything that makes sense at all. Because nobody fucking knows what's going on, right? Except a small number of people. So you know, whatever. Now, the reason politics is difficult, though, is that these things really do affect people's lives in a major way. And so it is important to have negative feedback and pressure from people on governments, right? Even if that pressure is incompetent and ill-informed and whatever, if you don't have it, the result is bad. So it is what it is. So politics is a little bit of a special case there, I think. Working for Vodafone for a while and then moving to a smaller sub-20 employee business, your productivity went up significantly. You wish more people in those environments could experience the difference. Yeah. Big environments, big companies are unproductive by virtue of their structure, for sure, often. Okay, less rant, more programming. We were going to add a field. Am I in the wrong? To ocean map. Ocean map. I kind of want to start playing PUBG again, man. Okay, so we're just going to wing some code here. We're going to start just stupid and not totally doing it, and then work on it. So if ocean control prompt hook is equal to character switch 1, then let's do the following. We have find labeled find by name. We have manager type name. Fighter. Prompt hook. Okay. We're going to be looking up a bunch of items by name and so forth. Okay, so active. If we see the fighter, we're just going to prompt the fighter. Character switch. Okay, we're just going to do that. Okay, so character switch 1. I forgot which level it's on. 8, 9, 10, 11. Is it 11? Yeah. Okay. Ocean map, select all. What was it called again? Character switch 1. And we're going to name this guy Fighter. Can I name this guy Wizard? And we're going to say Fighter switch. God, we're going to have so many things. Fighter switch. Fighter gate. Wizard switch. Wizard gate. Okay. Hey, look, we found the fighter and we're prompting him. Great. And it doesn't happen on other fighter levels, right? Yeah, not here. Not here. Okay, so good. Okay, so now we want to say, we want to just find all these frickin' entities. Fighter, wizard, fighter switch, fighter gate, wizard switch, wizard gate. Fighter, wizard, okay. Okay, if not all of this, we log an error and return. Because I don't want to get more nesting just for all that. Okay, so fighter, wizard. I don't think we need to down anybody else. Okay, so if distance fighter position, actually, I don't even know if we need this. eFighter.position, eFighterSwitch.position, right? Else if So now, hero is get active hero. I don't know if we actually do that. So if you're controlling the fighter, let's see if we do that. Manager. Else if hero is equal to E wizard and that. Okay. So just prompt the fighter when he's standing on the fighter switch and prompt the wizard when he's standing on the wizard switch. Okay, he's not prompting, not prompting. There we go. C. Not prompting, not prompting. C. Okay. So now we want to complexify this more and say only prompt the fighter if the wizard is left of the wizard switch, right? If E wizard position X is less than E wizard gate, sorry, not the switch, dot, okay. We'll do the same thing here. Great. Yeah, I'm like, the discussion went off the deep end again. Whatever, man. Okay, so there, and then okay, this is not working. It's supposed to unable to find all necessary entities. I forgot to change that. Fighter switch, wizard switch. Oh, it's fighter left of wizard gate. And wizard left of fighter gate. Because I named these after what they open. Okay. Prompt. Prompt. Okay. That's fine. I mean, it's not a good icon. Maybe we would add more subtlety to the prompting, but this is good. And then, you know, maybe we'll add something here later. But I just want the proof of concept in there of prompting character switches. That's everything I wanted to do today. I mean, that's more than I thought I would do today, actually. I didn't think that I would do all this prompting for all these various cases. As far as I know, that's everything we sort of need for noobs to play the game. Let me see, though. I have another piece of paper around here. Prompt character switching in. That is great. We're just getting so much done. That's what happens when you work 80 hours a week. Now, okay. Decided not to do that. Oh, one thing that we're not prompting. Bonus round. One thing that we are not prompting anymore, since we got rid of the HUD on promised, is we are not prompting that you can hit tab to get the map. And so what I figured is we're going to do that with a view giver like we usually do. When you switch back to Warrior, there was no prompt. There shouldn't have been, right? Wait, what are you talking about? So I'm Warrior. Now I character switch. Okay, I'm Wizard. Now I character switch. I'm back on Warrior. There shouldn't be a prompt, because Warrior is the one who needs to move and get out. Now, I could prompt again here if he's on the exit, but I feel like that's overkill for now, because you don't want to, like, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I think it's a good level right now. Yeah, if you go back to Wizard, so the rule for prompting is prompt if the character is not past their gate, right? So if I go here, okay. Now if I go here, if I switch back to Wizard, it'll prompt, right? Because I need to get the Warrior back to the gate, past the gate before it's time for the Wizard to move, right? But then now it won't prompt because, like, look, you've done enough, it's fine. Yeah, I mean, we could do a little bit more prompting just to force you to stand on the exit. But again, I like to give people just a little bit of whatever. Okay, promised 1, 2, and 3. Now this is a weird one because like we wouldn't be reminding people as much in this game for now, but we'll just have to figure out how to do it better. So what happens here is, in other levels, we have this thing called a view giver that's like a little orb you could pick up, and what's cameras? It's on Sun. Okay, so I could select this. I could make it not be enabled, right? How do we even know when these are enabled? I don't see it. Oh, it's Toggle game camera. No. It's toggle map zoom. Where's that? Other control. Okay, get alternate camera control. What does that do? If the view index is greater than 0. Okay, so we'll do the same thing. This format overview. No. Let's say enabled. We're just not going to hack it. It's tempting, but let's do an actual thing. 7 enabled is enabled if I don't even know. Not primary. This is going to be confusing, but yeah. Because we don't want to imply, I don't know. This is fine. It's hot in here, dude. Okay. If our view index is greater than 0, how do we know our robustness? Okay, that's weird. Okay, if our view index is greater than 0, we are disabled unless this is set. Okay, so that's fine. Hopefully, it's fine. Whoops. Forgot to tag it. Version 7. What requirements will you need to meet so you can test game early before it is shipped? What makes you think we're going to do that? I mean, I'm glad to hear that you're interested in the game. Why is the fade taking so long now? That's weird. It must be tied to frame rate in a bad way. Worry about that later. So right now, if I hit tab, it's doing this bright thing even though there's no alternate view, so we need to make that not happen. That's a thing. We changed the graphics in the map overview so that it's more readable, but if we're not doing where the hell is that reset? It's one of these. Okay, all right, it's right here. For map overview. Where's that stored? Just this camera.zoom target, yeah. Well, that might give us See, it gives us like one frame of flash. Okay, nothing. But now we want to load this, and we want to have an entity name, overview, and we want to make early in the game, we'll give you a little view giver, like here. Oh, let's just get it off here because it has the right mesh. Put it there, and we'll say viewpoint name is overview. So now I'm hitting tab and nothing has happened. And then I go to this, press tab to switch viewpoints. And it's not working. Because our thing to enable Sokoban. Okay. these are slightly different cases. They're going to get even more different later, so I'm just going to tab for an overhead map. We'll probably, once we have our visual language for control prompting, we'll probably do that without a sentence. We'll probably like just do the regular control prompt. It didn't work. Oh, because we didn't set our enabled. We didn't enable any of these, right? So we have to go to enabled, if not primary. Okay. I don't know, maybe that's just a needless complication, that enabled if not primary. Dude, I don't know. Hey, there we go. So now we're prompting people once again, and if they forget, we'll give them another one downstairs. Like in there. Or, I mean, we'll just remind them all over the place. It's the first frickin' game, right? Okay. And also, it's worth reminding them down here because it's a different like map. Yeah. And then if you get in here later, get this one. Great. Okay. Now we gotta do this. I'm looking at the wrong floor. That's why I'm disoriented. So start of game. Maybe when you get out here, there's one. And then we'll put one. So you get the zapper, you like open some stuff, and we'll remind you like there. Where's the camera? There it is. Overview. Enabled if not primary. Okay. Oh, I guess now we could enable these at level start. I guess we could have done that before. Okay, let's try this. Hi, lizards. There we go. That's good. And here, There's the other one. It didn't light up. Okay, that's weird. So we're going to have to debug this again. So the 3 legit gems didn't power their sockets. That's so weird. And then the rest of them did? I don't get it. The first time you pick up a gem, it doesn't do that. I don't know. Okay, anyway, we get here. We get this. Press tab for an overhead map. All right. Great. We're doing so much good work. Okay, let's see the camera first. Overview. Where do we remind people here? So you're in there, maybe like out here is one. And then once you've made progress in down here, which would be this room. Great. Saved. Spoilers, everybody. Whoops. Boop. I should check to make sure that that doesn't happen on first. Yeah. Great. Oh, we're doing so good. Prompt for parsed overhead maps. We have made huge strides today in terms of random schmo's ability to play the game. Huge strides. What do I consider to be the major deficiencies of C++ in general? I'm sorry. You can watch my YouTube rants. I can't cover it again and again. Okay, so now we got to figure out what is going on with this gem bug. I would like to, that was promise 2 where that happens. I would like to figure out a fixed repro sequence, right? So let's just try this. So I ran a debug build, or not even debug, well, non-optimized build. I said, hi, buddy. I came in here, I did this, pick that up. I mean, this sequence is pretty well defined. Pick these up, did this, went downstairs. Okay, here's the interesting thing. I actually only have 2 gems right now. And then I typed gems, right? And then other ones went out. Did you see that? They turned on. What? Okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to make a debug build. And we're going to break for change slot power to false. That's even weirder. I expected that the gems just were not making things come on. But this is weirder. Main deficiency is not being C. No, that's not true. I mean, I don't use C. Okay, see, here we have a problem. We have a baby gem floating in the air there. That shouldn't happen. I wonder if it's related to the gems command, though. I wonder if it's related to saying gems while I was holding legit gems. See, okay, that's no good. You know what? I'm getting tired tonight, so I'm going to debug this in the morning. We've done enough investigative research to kind of see what's going on. We have a repro, so we're going to get up in the morning, and I'll stream that probably. We're going to get up in the morning and do it when we're fresh. Doing it when we're fresh. But we had a good 4-hour stream here of mostly work. We had about 15 minutes of rant, I guess. And we're getting there. We're going to have a real video game one of these days. Real video game. If we had dependent types, that wouldn't happen. You never know, it might be possible. Good night, everybody. Okay, let's try again. You know we've had bad luck lately, but let's try to raid someone again.
Six has donated $50 and has said, love how you add
Not
your own...
Final Fantasy keyboard girl. We're going to raid programming. Dude, there's 40,000 people. There must be a good match going. MIBR versus Mouse Sports, and it's tied. Oh my God. All right. We're going to raid MIBR versus Mouse Sports. And I'll see you guys some other time.